Have you ever felt like you're facing a huge problem all by yourself? It's a heavy feeling, right? Well, let me tell you a story about a small town nestled between rolling hills, where an old bridge was the lifeline connecting two villages. For years, it stood strong, a symbol of their community. But time, as it does, took its toll. One day, a deep, ominous crack appeared right down the middle. Panic spread like wildfire. The villagers gathered at the bridge, their faces etched with worry. This wasn't just a structure of wood and stone, it was their connection to trade, to family, to their way of life. Without it, everything would grind to a halt. Everyone had an opinion on how to fix it. The town's carpenter, a man proud of his craft, declared, "A few strong wooden beams are all we need. I can handle this myself." But the mason, whose hands had built half the town's foundations, shook his head. "Wood rots. Only stone will provide a lasting solution. Leave it to me." Then came the engineer, a woman who believed in precision over all else. She scoffed, "You're both guessing. This requires a proper structural plan, not just raw materials." Their arguments echoed across the river, each person convinced their way was the only way. But while they argued, the bridge suffered. Days turned into a week, and the crack grew wider, the gap between them becoming a physical reality. The problem wasn't getting solved. It was getting worse. One quiet evening, as the adults were still debating, a young boy who had been listening silently asked a simple question that cut through all the noise. "Why don't you all just work together?" The words hung in the air, so simple yet so powerful. The carpenter, the mason, and the engineer looked at each other, and for the first time, they didn't see competitors. They saw neighbors. The next morning, the air was different. There was a sense of purpose. The carpenter arrived, not to build the whole bridge, but to shape the strongest wooden supports he could imagine. The mason followed, not to replace the wood, but to reinforce the foundation with sturdy, unshakable stone. And the engineer, she didn't just hand over a blueprint, she created a design that brilliantly combined the flexibility of wood with the permanence of stone, a plan that used both their skills perfectly. Word spread. And soon, it wasn't just the experts at work. Other villagers joined in. Some carried heavy tools, their muscles straining but their spirits high. Others organized a constant supply of food and water, making sure everyone stayed energized. It became a community project. Kids cheered from the sidelines, their laughter a soundtrack of hope. It wasn't easy, of course. Real teamwork rarely is. There were disagreements about measurements, mistakes that required starting over, and moments of doubt when the task seemed too big. But this time, something had fundamentally changed. When frustration flared, they didn't walk away. They talked, they listened, they adjusted the plan. They encouraged each other when someone felt like giving up. They weren't just building a bridge. They were building trust. Finally, after days of tireless, collective effort, the work was done. The bridge stood not just repaired, but stronger and more resilient than it had ever been. It was a masterpiece of collaboration. As people began to cross it again, a profound realization settled over them. The bridge wasn't saved by one person's brilliant idea or another's singular skill. It was saved because carpenters, masons, engineers, and everyday people had united as one. From that day forward, the people of the two villages carried a new wisdom in their hearts. They understood that alone, they were skilled and capable, but together, they were truly unstoppable. This story reminds us that our greatest strength is found not in our individual talents, but in how we combine them. Whether it's in our families, our workplaces, or our communities, collaboration turns I can't into we can. When we listen, support, and lift each other up, even the most daunting challenges can be overcome. So next time you face a cracked bridge in your own life, remember this story. Look around. Your greatest resource might just be the people standing right beside you. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that inspires. See you in the next one.